What's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review and my thoughts on Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5, called The Bells. And yes, the penultimate episode of the entire Game of Thrones TV series. We're getting the very final episode, the series finale, next week. Got home from work, so I had to catch the replay on a little after midnight. But I gotta tell you, it was so incredibly worth it. Now for weeks, I've been seeing people complaining left and right, whining online about how trash they think Season 8 has been, how the showrunners have ruined it and everything like that, and I've been shaking my damn head the whole time. And this episode was a testament to that. Because I, in all honesty, think this episode especially... Now I had my issues, my gripes with the Long Night episode with regards to exactly how the Night King went down. But I've still really liked the season, and this episode especially, it was such a glorious masterpiece. I've tweeted about that, I've Facebooked it. That's how I keep describing it. I was in awe of this episode. This episode is absolutely incredible to me. Easily one of the greatest episodes of the whole show. It really satisfied me. I really dug it. They gave me pretty much a lot of things I wanted by the end of the show, as well as something in more of a way than I thought, with regards to Cersei. Who we'll talk about at some point, but my mind is still racing. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat for the majority of the episode, then like the last quarter of it, my mouth was hanging open, and I was just like zeroed in. I was trembling, I was speechless for a minute or two. I didn't move after the credits rolled. I loved it. It was just so well done. A lot of great emotions and, character moments, final character moments. It was filmed really well, especially with Arya, running through the city and everything. You can have your issues with the season, sure. You can have your personal preferences, but past that, and past your own personal vision of how you wanted the story to play out, I don't see how you could not say this was a great episode or this was a well done episode. I don't get it. But with a show like Game of Thrones, as popular as it is, unfortunately you're not going to please everyone, and the showrunners were never going to win with the internet community. It seems to be cool to pick at anything that has a major popularity or following these days. I think sometimes people honestly do it just to do it. But, I get some people might have different opinions. Maybe you didn't like this episode genuinely. Okay, I'm sorry for you. But, again, I think this is incredible. And whatever the reason is, I just think it's a shame that more people aren't appreciating just how damn good it is right now. I loved it. And, I thought about waiting another night to kind of gather my thoughts on it. Maybe I should have. But I just wanted to talk about it right now. And the whole Daenerys thing. I get how some people may be a little bit upset with her final direction here, because in earlier instances she did, she didn't want to rule Ashes, right? But I don't think her final character arc here is completely out of nowhere either. I mean, Daenerys has always had impulses. There's sort of moments where you could tell she could go over the edge because of her emotion and just how she handles things, and losing Miss Sunday, and just how things have went for her. It's just driven her to that final edge, that final breaking point, and so she's finally snapped. And I can understand why, to a certain extent. And I think it was pretty brave of the showrunners to take this turn with the character, not just have like a straight up, oh yeah, she'll become loved by all of Westeros, and she'll just roast Cersei and that's that, and be this queen. Jon will bend the knee to her forever. It was never going to have that fairy tale ending, and I'm fine with them going this direction. So I can actually understand Daenerys snapping. Now, I don't know why I watch Beyond the Trailers videos. I mean, she has a good formatting and style to her videos, organized. And again, people have their opinions, but she was trying to I don't want to talk about this too much, but she was trying to make it out like their whole point or reasoning for Daenerys' arc this season was because they like to tear down and slander women in power. It has nothing to do with that. Don't make it a part of an issue that it's not tied to whatsoever. I don't know. Sometimes people just go in with the mindset of, oh yeah, let's pick out any issues we can here and tie it to this. I don't know. But I think it's fine. Like I said, all the city scenes were shot really well. Arya running through it, trying to help, that mother and daughter couple. Again, it's filmed really well. Mace Williams was great with all the physicality and sort of desperation of it all. It felt like a real, disaster situation. All the makeup and everything. John. He's been aware, sort of like Tyrion has been, of where Daenerys is sort of heading, but they've both sort of tried to back her as much as they can, hanging on to what they can, their belief in her for, their own individual reasons. But again, and John seeing, just how, wrong it turned, with her burning millions, or, at least thousands of, innocent people, men, women, plenty of children. She's definitely come unseated, and of course Tyrion walking through the crumbled wall and everything like that. She didn't have to do that, so she's definitely, again, reached that tipping point, whether her reasons are justified or not, which you could argue they still are, but she's in the wrong of it now. And my favorite part was the Clegane Bowl. I'll say that right off the bat, but we'll talk about that in just a minute or two. I did want to talk about Jaime and Cersei. I actually really like how they concluded that, especially the Cersei end of things. It was surprisingly really genuine, and I really liked the direction they took with it, actually. Now, everyone wanted to see Cersei burn, get eaten, Arya kill her with Jaime's face, or something like that. But they didn't do that. They took a more realistic, sort of human route with it that I really respected. Cersei's always been one of my favorite characters for the character she is. Great antagonist. But she always had a core to her in a way, like Tyrion's always tried to look at. May have been misplaced now from his perspective, but you could see it. She's slowly, seeing her world crumble before her, literally, throughout the episode. Her just, sort of almost in a state of denial and just sort of saying, oh, this is the safest, in all of King's Landing or whatever. And it finally hits her, and once she gets to Jaime and, they see there's no way out, and she's just crying, and all she wants is to be comforted by Jaime and just sort of share a last moment with him. There's no, forcing. She's not trying to get away from him and focus on something else. Cersei had a really human and sort of, almost touching exit. One of the greatest antagonists on the show. Always loved the way Lena Headey played her. And I really respect how they took that direction with her. They closed it off there. Like that Jaime got to kill Euron. That was good. And of course, bugged me that Euron got to go out with a bit of a smirk on his face, knowing maybe his his stabs into Jaime. He's the one that killed the Kingslayer and everything like that. But luckily, maybe not, because Jaime is crushed with Cersei before he succumbed to his wound. So, nope. But yeah, I really like how that ended. Again, people are just complaining about everything and not really understanding the meaning of it all. And now the Clegane Bowl. I've said, if you guys watch my Game of Thrones videos, my three favorite characters are Tyrion, the Hound, and Jon Snow, or Aegon Targaryen, right? And at times, the Hound has almost been my favorite character. It's gone back and forth between all three of them over the years. Tyrion is probably still my favorite when it comes down to it, but the Hound has always been a personal favorite of mine. And the Clegane Bowl, I've been wanting that for years, and I was almost more excited and nervous for that than the whole Night King thing going into this season. And let me tell you, the Clegane Bowl delivered. The Hound facing off against the Mountain, Sandor and Gregor. And I loved the Hound's final moments with Arya, them going in together into the King's Landing, so determined. And Arya being told by the Hound not to end up like him, get out of here, or else if you go with me, you're gonna die for sure, right? I like that one's holding her head, and we finally had a real genuine moment between the two. I always loved their dynamic, their banter, but there's a genuine care there between the two. I'm glad that showed here when Arya called him Sandor and thanked him. I love that final moment between the two. And then when Arya was running through the city and sort of almost being trampled and then getting up and keeping going, as the Hound is being beaten by the Mountain, and I like how they sort of edited it together of them both getting hit and then getting back up and stuff like that. That was a good touch that no one seems to be talking about. Again, people are mostly just complaining and not actually talking about what happened. I love that. The fight itself was very good, very brutal. My insides were tense, but it ended pretty much exactly how I envisioned it and how I sort of wanted it to, realistically. I mean, sure, I would have loved the Hound to have lived, and gone on to eat all the chickens in every room or whatever. But this is his arc's end that I think was the most fitting, and it's what he wanted. He didn't really think he was going to make it out of there alive. He didn't really want to either. He just wanted to finish his business with his brother and be the one to put a sword in him, like Mountain's known, like he's always known, as the Hound said last season, right? Brutal fight. The Hound showed that he's the more skilled swordsman of the two. He does land some stabs into the Mountain, but the Mountain, of course, is like barely alive, but alive enough to recognize his brother. Kill I forget the guy's name, but kill the sciencey guy, Cersei science guy or whatever. Zombified him and everything like that. Enough to just smash his head in real quick and go to face his brother against Cersei's orders. So that shows there's a good amount of his own mind left in it to a certain extent anyway. And then the Mountain, his helmet is knocked off by the Hound and you see his face, which I think looked pretty cool, fairly creepy. I like the look of it. It was about what I kind of wanted with that as well. I was worried that they're going to go Oberyn style on the Hound, but luckily they didn't. I feel like they really satisfied how it should have played out. The Mountain does go for that skull, sort of eye crush that he did with Oberyn, and even a stab through the chest wasn't affecting the Mountain, but the Hound manages to put the knife or the dagger right through his eye, through his head. But even that, the Mountain's still not quite going down, and it's really well shot too. Them going up the staircase, you see all the destruction, fire in the background from the city, and the Hound ends up just tackling him through that crumbling brick wall, and just them both falling and perishing in the fire. But I would call that a victory for the Hound with him tackling him off like that. So that is a really, really satisfying conclusion to that. Still, hit me, makes me sad and everything like that, but that's exactly how I wanted the Hound's story to wrap up when it came down to that kind of moment there. So that alone, that can make me happy with the whole thing. But yeah, I just love this episode, and it's, again, just a damn shame people are enjoying it the way they should, or appreciating it while they can. I'm giving this episode a 10 out of 10. I don't care. I loved it. Well done. One of the greatest episodes of the show, one of the greatest episodes of any show of all time. Now I have my personal favorite shows, Being Human, a couple others and stuff like that, but if someone just said Game of Thrones is the greatest TV show of all time, I couldn't really argue. It definitely is for me. And, I'm eager to see the series finale next week. Who's going to sit on the throne? I think Jon is going to be forced to kill Dany. I think we kind of see that now. Maybe Arya, but I think it's only Jon sort of finally standing against her, like, full-on directly. I could see him doing that, then leaving it to Sansa because he doesn't want the throne. I don't think he'll take it. So yeah, I'd be fine with that. But again, the final episode is an extended one, so quite a bit is there's still quite a bit of time for things to happen that we're not really thinking of. But yeah, again, I love this episode. Don't go read every comment section like I do, because they'll just annoy you with just ungrateful, moronic thoughts about how bad the season is. But yeah, anyway, 10 out of 10 episode. I loved it. So wonderfully done. Glorious masterpiece. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it. Also, the scene between Jaime and Tyrion. I feel like I almost forgot about that with all the craziness that went down in the main part of the episode, but really great emotional moment between the two. Great acting between Peter Dinklage and Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. just Tyrion thanking Jaime for being the only one that didn't see him as a monster all these years, and really, really great. So, yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.